In today's publishing world, we are no longer just talking about access or output. We are all rethinking the entire system of how knowledge is being curated, supported, and shared. To me, it feels like a moment of both challenge and possibility. I'm Maryam Sayab, Director of Communication at Asian Council of Science Editors, and being my background deeply involved in regional publishing communities, I have seen it firsthand that how critical it is to have leaders who not only understand this type of shift, but they are actively shaping it. And that's why I am especially glad and excited to be joined by Emily Poznanski, CEO of Sciendo and Gruyter in Poland, and also the visionary behind the newly formed Paradigm Publishing Services, which brings together three exciting brands: Sciendo, Ubiquity, and the University Press Library under one transformative umbrella. So, Emily, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you today. And thank you for the lovely introduction, because I think that's really what we should be thinking about. You know, we're in such an age of change, whether that's technological or socioeconomic, change all about us. And academic publishing is not an industry that's especially conducive to changing quickly. So it's I think your introduction is spot on. It's how do we adapt, you know, which parts of the system are working well and we want to uphold, and which parts, you know, do need to change is is something that I think both of us are interested in. So thank you for that.
So, to begin, you have had such a lovely and rich journey in academic publishing, from Central Europe University Press to now leading Paradigm Publishing Services. So, let's start there. That can you walk us through the path that how it shaped your current vision?
Yeah, I mean, it's linked to my background, both roles actually, because I was born in America, but I'm Polish by background. And I spent my very early childhood in Poland and then moved to England. And so I was always hopping between Poland and England. And um, when I was in England, you know, I'd always be explaining the culture in Poland and you know, end of Central Europe. And so when I started the job as director of CEU Press, it was really that on a bigger scale. It's how do you express, you know, the culture, politics, the complexity of that region? How do you express that to the rest of the world? And so it was a really fulfilling job to have, which, yeah, linked very closely to my upbringing. And my first job in publishing was actually in Warsaw, in Poland, where I started almost as an intern for a company called Versata. And that company later became Sciendo. So really, I did a sort of full circle coming back as CEO of Sciendo, sort of a good few years later. But so it was, yeah, it was, I started working in academic publishing in Poland, and now I've come back to run the Polish office. So that's the journey.
Wonderful. So I would say that really highlights that how experience across different publishing models bring valuable insights into the transformation and how it looks like today. So speaking of transformation, Ciando is now evolving into Paradigm Publishing Services. So how did that shift come about, and what does it mean for the platform's future?
Mhm. The three companies coming together, Sciendo, Ubiquity, and the University Press Library Program, are linked really to the De Gruyter Brill merger, which was started just over a year ago. And that was really an opportunity just to take a look at everything under the De Gruyter umbrella and do a bit of a tidy up, essentially. So De Gruyter Brill, at least the way I think about it, is that very traditional publishing house, you know, large editorial teams, very commissioning focused. And all the other businesses, so Sciendo, Ubiquity, and the University Press Library Program, they are more service oriented. So much more, matching the needs of external, be it journals or presses or library publishing systems. That's what we do. And when we looked at the three units together, we saw that really, by coming together, we can offer almost complete publishing services between us. So that's the background to it.
Exactly. So just to elaborate it further, that the paradigm bringing together these three brands on one platform, how do you see these parts working together, or what's the bigger vision here behind this whole screen?
Mhm. When we first came together, so the heads of the three units, we really looked at, what are we trying to achieve? What part of the publishing landscape do we best support? And and we sat down together and we pulled together our, vision, mission, values, just talking. And it's largely focused around maintaining the bibliodiversity that we have
Mhm.
out there in publishing. It's really hard to keep up with change, like digital, keeping abreast of, the latest digital changes, for a small journal or a small society to keep up with all of this or to, maintain financial sustainability nowadays. If you think of a press that was heavily reliant on print, how does it transition into, the into digital? Um, that's the part of the industry we thought we can really help. So when we came together, we said the most important value for us is to maintain the independence of these journals, societies, presses. How do we keep them going? How do we keep them healthy and flourishing? And how can we best support them? And that's where our sort of services come in. So it's really, and I suppose I learned that from running a small press. You can't do it all yourself. It's very difficult to do it all yourself when you have a small team to do sales, marketing, production, editorial work, plus everything else. Um, so that's what we try to do, be that sort of invisible back end, and partners can plug into the services they need essentially.
That sounds like a strong strategic alignment between three brands and providing all solution on one platform. So, from a partner or editor's point of view, change on something they usually raise a lot of questions, a lot of queries. So, are there any immediate changes that existing Sciendo partners or the journals team should be aware of during this whole process of transition?
There will be some changes coming up, but hopefully our partners will only see positive changes in that we'll have a much larger team, an international team now, because our offices are Boston, Warsaw, and London. Um, and so we'll have more people that, to support our partners, but also a wider array of services. So by coming together, we can really open those services up and hopefully match any of the needs that partners come to us with. So, for example, Sciendo previously was just a fully open access business. By coming together, we now can do both, closed access and open access services, and, support whether it's a journal or a press that wants to make a transition from closed into open access, or, work in some kind of hybrid way. That's something we can do now, and we didn't really do that before. And there are lots of examples like that. So, now a partner coming to us, we can, build them technology, through the Ubiquity part of the business, or sales and marketing support, through the Boston team. So it's broader services, hopefully more flexible. and yeah, more people to help. That should be the change.
I think that you're keeping the uniqueness, but providing the edge of the other brands and the services as well to the same platform. So that's the part that there is continuity for each brand, but still there is like more innovation on the way as well. So talking about innovation, what new services or directions that in Paradigm you're introducing that you feel that truly set it apart, the Paradigm publishing services?
Well, hopefully, I mean, so we're building out our platform, and it's also going through a rebrand. So later this year, um, that will be unveiled, hopefully not too late in the year as well. But what our partners will see is a more powerful platform with much more flexibility for our partners. I think alongside that, it's we are trying to get the balance right of being able to propel partners that work with us in terms of, we have a lot of journals and presses working with us, and there is a strength in numbers. So if you have a lot of content on the platform, there's a lot more attention. Combining that strength with individual partners' needs. So wherever a press or a journal or a society or whomever's publishing needs individual representation, we can also build that out, whether that's through a custom website or editorial systems or however. So I think that's the balance that we're trying to strike for our partners, plus probably that we're born out of a academic publishing house. We do understand the publishing part. So it's not just technology and services, it's also like a true understanding and love for, academic publishing that we can, that's how we look at problems that our partners are facing.
It's lovely that the focus on service design. It's exciting to hear that, and especially for publishers trying to scale responsibly, it's an opportunity for them. So, given your global experience, that how is Paradigm approaching partnerships in regions like Asia and Global South, where publishing ecosystems are growing, but they face distinct challenges?
We're trying to do more outreach in those regions, especially through partnerships like ours, where you have such a strong network. Um, what we've what we've been what we've introduced recently is, I mean, we just see that there is such um, a need for um, I, I don't know if education's the right word, but all the publishing know-how that we have internally, how to share that with all our partners is something that we've been doing more actively. So we launched a webinar series just to on key topics like impact factor or keeping up with how to best market your journal or about challenges around peer review, to share that with our networks, whether those are current partners of ours or or not. So that's one thing that we've been doing. It's one aspect that Sciendo has done really well over the last years is help develop journals. So, journals that have, tremendous editorial teams, but don't quite have the know-how to get, indexed and get the impact factors and actually get the recognition they deserve. It's something that Sciendo has done with, a lot of numbers, a lot of journals. We have, I think, I don't want to get the statistics wrong, but I think of the impact factor journals that we have on our platform, I think about 120 of those journals got an impact factor through working with us. So that's really just that, sharing that know-how directly with our partners that we're trying to share more broadly across different regions as well.
I really appreciate that the Sciendo platform and the Paradigm, they're trying to go with capacity building of editors, publishers as well. And this is the inclusive approach that every platform needs. So, moving towards the other side, there is a global force reshaping publishing known as artificial intelligence, full of both promises and comes with lot of complexity. So, how is Paradigm thinking about AI in its editorial or production workflows? Are there particular areas that you are actively exploring?
There are, and they probably won't come as, as very surprising areas. So, in terms of enhancing workflows and processes, yes. Also, improving search on the platform, and we also introduced through the Ubiquity side a journal matcher tool, which is AI based, where you can find the right journal to publish your article in. Things like this, we're introducing quite quickly. But I hope that continues to develop because it's obviously, I think, it's scaring us, the developments in AI, but there's also huge opportunities for us, and I think that's how we're looking at it, um, and actively trying to engage in, exploring new ideas and partnerships to make certain parts of the work just easier. I think everyone, that's working on a journal has such limited time, and how do we make best use of that editor's time is by getting rid of some of the slower work through AI, and so that's how we're exploring.
It's a thoughtful stance that making easier to everyone involved in the process. I would say that it's easier, I would say very easy to get swept up in the hype of AI, but the implementation part, it what that really matters. At ACSE and the similar organization that are working with us, there's like a growing interest in meaningful collaboration. So, what kind of engagement would you like to see with regional publishing communities ahead with publishing services?
Well, I hope that I mean we really learn from each other. I think that's what's so wonderful about the publishing environment is you're interacting with academics and librarians and institutions, and really I think we're all looking towards achieving the same goal of, spreading knowledge, disseminating that as much as possible, with the aim of improvements, whether that's in health or, in, philosophy, or, all the areas that we publish in. And so in terms of collaboration, I think previously, the service part of the business, for Sciendo at least, previously it was really, just delivering services, and it was sort of in one direction. Now what we're doing, and it's what makes the job really enjoyable, is, getting the feedback from the people we're partnering with, because like we said at the start, so much change is happening. We, as a service business, we need to be adapting all the time, to be, matching the most important needs of our partners. So that's the kind of collaboration we're introducing now. It's, it sounds very simple, but really just meeting with our partners, speaking with them, learning from them, and hopefully giving back as well, with this know-how and knowledge sharing, that we do.
I strongly agree with you that that kind of dialogue and shared growth, it feels more important than ever when we have so much on the plate already and AI is creating like a lot and lot more of hype. So to wrap up, my last question would be that what excites you most about the road ahead of Paradigm and what can the publishing world expect from your team in the coming year as under your leadership?
Well, I have to say, what really excites me is the team that I work with. They are just brilliant. I think I can throw any problem their way, and they are ready to come up with, ideas of how to deal with it. And so that's exciting, because that does make for a really dynamic workplace, where we can sort of test things out. If they don't work, we try something else. So that's very exciting, and I hope, in terms of what the what our partners see is that we we can really support in the areas that are causing them most problems so that they can continue their operations. I think that's what we would love to be able to contribute on from Paradigm, is to maintain that bibliodiversity, to keep the publishing system as rich and diverse as possible, which means supporting all these,
Exactly.
small to mid-sized publishers.
Thank you so much, Emily, for such thoughtful insights and for sharing the exciting direction of Paradigm where it's headed. I think that Paradigm, Sciendo, Ubiquity, and the University Library Press, they have like a good leader in hand to help them grow and move forward. It's also good to see that how you're not only building on legacy, but also focusing on publishing services for more inclusive and connected future. As we look forward to seeing how Paradigm evolve and the opportunities that it opens up for publishers and partners worldwide. Thank you once again for joining us today, and all the best to you and your team at Paradigm Publishing Services.
Thank you so much, and looking forward to staying in touch, Maryam.